All right, YouTube, welcome to the highly anticipated Sector Janet guide. And today we're going to be talking about both Sector by herself and Sector with Janet. So it's kind of a base character guide and a cameo guide. And we can't talk about Sector without talking about her full screen, projectiles, because she has some of the best projectiles in the game. This is the best projectile in the game, if you ask me. Look at that, 3 recovery, literally 3 recovery. So we're going to be talking about full screen first. You want to be using this like as much as possible, and don't mess it up like me. Like, look at this recovery. I got enough time to look. I have enough time to do this and then parry it and then shoot another projectile. That's how fast this recovers. So, yeah, you want to be using that. And the one, or not the one great thing, but one of the great things about this projectile in particular is if I stop her from, actually no. It still works even if they throw a projectile back at you. You can do this and then do your other down back 1 projectile, and that's actually a frame trap. They can't do anything about that unless they had something like Movado pull that's like super fast and instant and goes full screen, but not many moves in the game do that. In fact, I think Movado is like the only cameo or character in the game that has something like that that's as fast as it is. So this is basically guaranteed. If they're not playing Movado, this is guaranteed. And it will punish them if they throw like a slower recovery projectile like Cyrax. She also has this straight projectile, and the enhanced version eats other projectiles. So this version's a high, and this version's a mid. And the great thing about this mid projectile, it does 6% initially, but it also does an unscaled 5% DOT afterwards, which is pretty unique. No other cameo has this like damage over time effect on an enhanced projectile like this. So this is also good because you can actually kill your opponent with this, and I'll show a clip right now. He's dead. So yeah, my opponent died even though the actual projectile itself didn't kill him. It's just the damage over time that killed him, but I still got the win. So those are all your projectiles. You have this instant air projectile, you have this straight projectile, you have this tracking projectile. It doesn't necessarily track. You have 4 versions: the close version, which you don't really use at all; the down version, which you use in certain situations, but we'll get to that later. You'll mainly be using the regular version mid-screen or the far version. The thing about the far version though is they can pretty much always just duck it. So even though it says mid, like I know it says mid, it's actually like basically a high. And this one is a true mid. But there's also a caveat because it hits their feet. So people with or characters with smaller hitboxes, it might just whiff entirely and it's easier to jump over. But like I just said, this is great for jumping opponents. This has an aerial arc, so they don't know which direction you're going to aim it, so they kind of just have to hold it no matter which direction it is. But those are the 2 ones that you're going to be using mainly if you're trying to zone or keep somebody out. Now I guess that's enough for full screen. There's not much there. I mean, there kind of is, but not much to talk about. Like, just throw your projectiles if you're trying to keep somebody out. In general, you just want to be throwing a lot of projectiles as Sector because that's one of her main strengths. You can just have a bunch of stuff on the screen at any given time. Oh, and this combo is if you do it properly. But you have to do it like really, really like on time. You have to be on perfect timing if you want to make that combo, but it is a true combo if you time it right. And that's the same with the EX version. So now, let's put us at round start distance. Now from here, you have your 4-3. Now 4-3 is unsafe on block. It is like -12 or something like that. If you space it out, it's actually like more safe. Let me show that right now. And I'm gonna put frame data on, which is already on. -11, -7. I'm gonna try and make it like safer than that. -5. So It just depends on where you do it. So it can be anywhere from -12 to -4, I believe. And this is cancelable, so... And you might notice how fast this cancel is. Like, look at that. Yeah, you can just do 2 like that, and that'll basically make them like flinch. If you're just moving back and forth in neutral, and then you see a sector do this, your instinct is, oh, whoops, let me watch out for that and block low. So that's a good way to check movement. So that's a good way to get like a free grab or like a free like approach because they flinched. So this is a good way to get people to flinch, is what I'm saying. And stop what they're doing for like a brief second and acknowledge that you have this half screen low that does combo with certain cameos. So yeah, that's how you stop people from just moving freely. Of course, once you get in, you have this advancing mid. What else? You have forward 4. And this is cancelable even on whip. So in neutral, you have a lot of buttons to just keep them at bay. Also, from your forward 3, you have this forward 3, 4. You can just hold 3 and then do 4. This is +2 on block. Let me show you that it's +2. You can see down there, +2. And yeah, so you have a lot of tools to keep to keep your advantage in neutral, because in neutral, Sektor is almost always the winner. She just has more tools in neutral than most other characters. So between all these projectiles from all the way back here, and then this, and then you have your straight projectile, and then you have your EX projectile, and then once you finally get in, you got to worry about 4 or 3. You got to worry about this, and then up close, she has back 3, 4. Back 3, 4 is an auto shimmy, and this is a great auto shimmy because the second hit of this string starts up in 2 frames. 2 frames. Look at that. 2 frames. So if you're trying to tech, you're gonna get shimmied. There is no if and but. You're gonna get shimmied. That's it. And with certain cameos, of course, you're getting a combo off of that. Even if you don't get a combo off of that, it's still like -6. So whatever, right? No one's punishing it. It's completely gapless. It's double low. So, I mean, you have an overhead. So everything about this string, just in general, this is like one of the better strings in the game. You just want to be using that pretty often. It works very well if you land a poke or something. Say you land a poke and then you dash forward real fast, like you're going for a grab. That's a very good way to open somebody up, because it does kind of look like a grab in a way, even though it like, you wouldn't think this would shimmy people because it's a double low, but it does. So that's your back 3. You have your forward 2. Your forward 2, 1 is -7. So that's kind of unfortunate because 5 characters in this game can punish it. Ghostface, Shang, depending on the cameo that you're using. Li Mei, Lao, and Lu. So those 5 characters can, in certain situations, punish this string. Of course, against the rest of the cast, it is safe, but for those characters, what you can do is, just to show you, I'm going to put her on custom reversal, which I believe I already recorded. Okay, I guess I didn't. And then, so if I try to duck or anything like that, I'm going to get beat. Can't like jump, can't do armor. There's nothing you can do. But if they try to take their turn back, because that's basically like a free -7. Like when you're -7, people usually like to take their turn back. And that's where Janet's nut punch comes in. This is completely gapless. Like not gapless in that they can't armor it, but gapless in that they can't just like swing and interrupt it. If they have a 6-framer, this will trade. In older versions of MK, you would actually get a trade combo for trading with Nut Punch, but in this game, you don't. So you won't get a combo, but like you'll recover way before they do, and it's just better for you in that situation. So that's your forward 2. You also have mind games off of your forward 2, 1, 2. If they try to anti-air you, you have way, like there's so many options. They're not gonna just try and anti-air you unless they're insane. Like, you have so many options to prevent them from anti-airing you or up-blocking you. Like, you can just... pretend that they've, like, tried to up-block right here. That's a grab. Or, like, you can wait for... You know, you can do stuff like that. So that's your 4-2-1-2. What else do you have? Up close. I mean, you have 1-1, but, like, 1-1 is, -1 on block. And it's pretty easy to react to, so I mean, this is like an okay stagger. The full string is -5, it's gapless, so like, it's okay. You have your stand 1. Stand 1 is actually a better stagger than 1-1 because look at the spacing. That's where stand 1 puts you. Stand 1 puts you here. Whereas stand 1-1 puts you literally right in front of their face. So you might be able to like backdash or like, you know, it's just a better situation for you if you do stand 1 stagger, even though they're both -1. This -1 is a lot better than this -1. So you can use stand 1 as a stagger up close. There's nothing wrong with that. Stand 4 is actually a really good stagger. It's also -1. I did not even know that. So she has a lot of good -1 staggers. What makes this stagger so good is the fact that this string, if I can like show you, this string is really slow. So the fact that this recovers so fast makes this like a pretty good string, because if they do happen to get hit by the last 2 hits of this string, you can just cancel into a cameo. That doesn't mean a whole lot with Janet, because all you get is Nut Punch, but you might be able to get something like that. Okay, you can, so never mind. But it's just a whole lot better with cameos where you get like a summon launcher, you know, like Carpet Freeze with Frost, Subs Freeze. The Freeze cameos, basically. Like, it's better with those cameos because you're getting a lot more off of this string. But this is still a good stagger, nonetheless. What else do you have? You can stagger back 3, but like this is something you only do if they're blocking a lot of back 3 forwards. You've been doing this all game. They've been blocking it. You're not getting anything. That's when you start doing back 3 grab, back 3 backdash, or back 3 backdash. But you can see like this has some recovery to it. That's as soon as I can block. So be wary of that. Another thing that you have, one of your best normals. It would be her best normal if you didn't have to charge it up. But it's stand 2. Stand 2 is +9. I think on frame like 42. Yeah, somewhere around like frame 42. Yeah. You get the 9 frame, or not 9 frame, the +9 on block mid starter. You can also do stuff like hold stand 2 into missile, which combos on hit from certain ranges. So stand 2 is just pretty good in general. With Movado is probably like the best cameo to use this with, because you can just automatically confirm and then do his forward cameo or up cameo to get a combo. And those are your best normals. So all of her normals are good. They all have their own strengths. And you have an overhead. Just use this sparingly and don't use this offline, because this is gonna work online, but offline, yeah, no, absolutely not. Look how slow this overhead is. But everything works online, right? Because like netcode and Wi-Fi and all this other stuff. But yeah, so you have an overhead. Your best normals, just to recap: stand 1, back 3, 4. Stand 4, which is a good stagger by itself, and this is like an advancing mid. So you have that. And for poking, down 1 is fine. It is -9 for some reason instead of -8, but doesn't really make a difference. Yeah, so down 3 is decent, but it is -10. So certain character, well, actually no, just Johnny. Johnny can punish this. And I guess certain like special moves in the game can punish this too, but yeah. Down 3 has a little bit more range. So this is what you want to use from like further ranges. Down 4 is slower, but goes way further than down 3. Well, a little bit further. So yeah, it's just, all of her pokes are good. It just depends on what you're going for. Now, enough of that. On to B&Bs. So, since this is both a cameo-less guide and a Janet guide, I'm going to go over both the non-cameo and the Janet combos. So, your non-cameo B&B looks like this. Simple enough. The key is to make sure that you get one of these to whiff, because this is 3 hits. You can see that's 3 hits, but only 2 of them are hitting. Well, that's what it looks like if you mess it up. This is what you want to happen. Oh my god, this is what you want to happen. So it's just about how far you dash before you do your stand forward. What else? Your cameo combo. Hold on. This combo, I normally don't drop it, but I'm recording a YouTube video, you know how that goes. So the key really is make sure that you get the stand 4 in between the second and the third hit, but really you're just doing the punches, and then after you're done inputting all the punches, then you just do stand 4, and you're walking forward the whole time because you're just holding forward while you're doing forward cameo, rather than like forward cameo, forward cameo, forward cameo. You're just holding forward, doing cameo as she's punching them, and then since you're walking forward, then you just do the stand 4, and then of course you end with your jump 3-2. So that's off of your stand 1-1 and stand 4-2. Both of those in the teleport. That's really all you're going to be landing in the teleport, because like the only other thing that I know of that combos into teleport from the ground is back 3. Like back 3 by itself, not back 3-4. Yeah, so you're not really going to be landing that for obvious reasons. Like who is confident enough in landing a back 3 to confirm it in the teleport? I mean, if you're trying to punish a parry, that's pretty much like the only thing you'll be using it for, but for the most part, 1-1 and 4-2 in the teleport is all you'll be landing. And there's this too. I'm not even going to talk about that. So this in general, this stand 2-1, I'm not going to talk about it. So if you're waiting for me to cover that, I'm not going to talk about it. This, we already talked about, but yeah, never use this. Never use this version of this move. What else? Your forward 2. So this one, you're going to be doing stand 3 into forward cameo. So you're buffering the first and the second Janet punch. Then right before you input the third one, so like usually what would happen is you would just do the 3 as I just did it. Like if you can see in my button log, forward cameo, and then forward cameo again. Or if you're holding forward, then you would just do it. You're doing teleport in between the second and the third punch. So visually, it's right before the second punch, but when you're inputting it, it's right before you do the third punch, because you have to input it like 1 punch in advance, if that makes sense. So you're probably gonna have to fool around with that a little bit in the lab to just get a feel for it yourself, but once you get it, I can pretty much get this every time. Like, yeah, it's consistent once you get it. You can also like switch sides and stuff if you want to do it because of how high that launch is. So you can do stuff like that to keep same side. You can also like jump over and stuff. So, but that's your B&B off of this. What else? Back 3-4. So you can get 3 punches. I just did 2 because 2 actually does more damage than 3 because these scale. But it's the same thing if you just do 3. Same thing off of your armor. So yeah, pretty simple there. And I think that's all of your main corner B&B or mid-screen B&Bs. And now we can talk about corner B&Bs. So What's annoying about her corner B&Bs is the fact that stand 3, her main combo extender in the corner, starts up in 18 frames. For reference, stand 1 is 7, stand 4 is 11. So those put together equal the startup of stand 3. These moves together, like, it's slow, is what I'm trying to say. This is a slow move. And you have to make that work multiple times in a combo, and you don't have a whole lot of time to do it. So if stand 3 is giving you trouble, what I like to do is like cut out some gravity for some of these. So like instead of stand 3, I might do stand 1 or stand 4. Or instead of like 4-2, I might just use like stand 1, stand 4. And then once you have less gravity in your combo, then you can get stand 3 more consistently. So I'm gonna try and hit the optimal for you right now. Okay, genuinely surprised that I got that first try, but yeah, you'll find that first of all, the dash under in the 4-2 is pretty tight by itself, because if you don't do it right, you're just gonna like stay on the same side and it's gonna mess up your combo. And if you do it too late, it'll just whiff, and you're probably gonna get punished. So you have to find like the happy medium. But if you want like an easier version of the combo, you can do stand 1. You can do stand 4 by itself. Pretty much like that's how you cut out some gravity. And you can also just like omit one of the stand 3s, because I did like 4-2 into this, and then this, and you can cut out one of the stand 3s just to make it easier. There's a lot of ways to make it easier, and I encourage you to cut out some of the combo just to make sure you don't drop it. But that was your B&B off of stand 4-2 or 1-1 into teleport. You also can use Janet to extend that. That looks like this. I'm gonna do a suboptimal, like this part of the combo just to show you. And you're pretty much gonna always end your combo in stand 3 into missile. You just have to figure out like where you wanna aim it. If you aim it close, it's more likely to whiff unless... Yeah, it's just pretty much always gonna whiff if you do the close version. They have to be like really high up in the air and like you're really close to them, which rarely happens, so you don't really wanna do the close version, it'll whiff. You want to do the down version, the mid version, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so what I did after stand 3 down back 2 was... Well, that looked kind of weird because gravity was like not as high, but you're doing down back 2 into back cameo, and it's kind of the same thing as the mid-screen B&B. You're going to do jump 3 in between the punches, and then stand 3 into missile. So... you got to play a little bit with the Janet timings if you want to get that down. Of course, you can always just cop out and do 1. Like, this is perfectly fine. You don't lose that much damage if you do it that way. It's just, if you can get this consistent, then it wouldn't hurt, you know? It just wouldn't hurt. Okay, this is a situation where you want to do the close version. So I've been playing Sektor since she came out. I kind of have a feel for these things. It's okay if you don't. You'll figure it out. What else? Your back 3-4. If you just land back 3-4, the combo I normally do is this. Pretty sure that's optimal. You might be able to like, there might be like some other way to get the same damage. Like maybe like you do something like this in a stand 3. I'm not sure, but that's the combo that I normally do, and I haven't found anything consistent that does more damage than that. So you can just do this into jump 3, or sorry, jump 1 into your instant projectile, and then stand 1 this, and then 3 into missile. So yeah, that's your back 3-4 combo. You do get legitimate throw combos in the corner, and what I mean by legitimate throw combos is combos that work while they're blocking, because for whatever reason there's a glitch right now that prevents Sektor from calling cameos during her grab, specifically if the opponent's blocking. So this is them not blocking, and you can just do this. But if they are blocking, you can mash all you want, it's just not gonna Gotta put him on stance hold. It won't come out. Like, no matter what you do, it just won't come out until the throw is over, which is kind of annoying, but there is a way around this if you are, like, directly in the corner. You can't be, like, right outside the corner. It's not going to work. You have to be right up in the corner, and then you would just do throw and forward cameo all in one motion. So it would look like that. You're doing throw, forward, and cameo. All of that before the throw actually hits them. So throw, forward, cameo. It's all one move, basically, one input. So the combo you would actually go for is this. And that's your throw combo. So you also have your armor combo, which is the same as back 3-4. The same combo. You know, don't drop it, but you might be able to get a stand 4 instead of a stand 1 there, but you know, it scales so much that like it's better to just go for stand 1 anyway, because you're not getting that much more damage for going for a harder route. Off of your 4-2-1-2. From your 4-2-1-2, you're always gonna go into down back 1 in the corner, your air down back 1, the close version. It's really, the next part is up to you. I think it's easier to do a jump 1 into the close projectile. So you're doing 4-2-1-2 close air projectile, then jump 1 close air projectile. Or for more damage, slightly more damage, you could do jump 3. But you know, it's a little bit harder that way. And for some combos, it's better to just do jump 1 anyway, because you get higher damage depending on how long the combo is. So regardless, your combo looks like this. Actually, no, sorry. Let me try and do the optimal first, and then yeah, I'm gonna try and hit this optimal first. And right there, you would actually want to do the close version, because you can see the down version whip. So sometimes I even aim my missiles wrong. It's just something that you kind of got to get used to if you're playing the character. Most of the time, they're going to block anyway, because, like, for all they know, you aimed it correctly. Like, no one's going to know that you aimed it wrong except you or the opponent after. It doesn't even matter because it already whiffed. But yeah, that's the combo. You saw earlier I did, like, stand 4 instead of stand 3. That's usually the combo I do in, like, a real game. But if you're trying to be optimal, you do want to do the extra stand 3 in there. So it's 4-2-1-2, an air projectile, then jump 1, air projectile, and then stand 3, down back 2, stand 3, down back 2, or of course, you could just cut it out there if you don't want to spend any cameo, because the non-cameo combo is the same thing. Of course, for any of these, you could spend the bar. I'm not really going to go into that because it's just adding a stand 3, down back 4 EX anywhere in the combo. It doesn't really matter. So, anywhere where you were going to just end your combo and like stand 3 into a missile, you could spend a bar to get a little bit extra damage. So there's that, and I think that's basically all of the important B&Bs. In the corner, you don't really use forward 4 like that, because forward 4, the mind game isn't as good because you're in the corner, so you don't really have anywhere to run. Like say they're blocking, right? That's not really as good as the situation mid-screen, so you don't really use that too often. Off of your overhead, that's what you would go for. And it doesn't have to be your overhead. It's basically anything into down back 2 EX. So yeah, you just do this, stand 3 into another one, and then missile, or of course, if you want to use Janet, you would do that. So that's your down back 2. You can also keep this unbreakable, because this special move right here, just to prove to you, this is completely unbreakable. So yeah, they can't break that. You can keep looping it. You can loop it up to 5 times. 5 is kind of difficult. Sometimes you'll just like cop out and go for 4, or you'll end in like missile or something like that. This is a really good unbreakable combo ender. Okay, so now I want to talk about her fatal blow, because this is actually a really good fatal blow. It is 5 hits, kinda, but the first 4 are unblockable, and they don't have a hit reaction. So it does a lot of chip. That does 5.25% chip, so this might be the highest chip damage move in the game. It probably is. And even if they flawless block, just to show you, you can't flawless block the unblockable beams because they're unblockable. So that's 4%, no matter what. If they're standing in the blue, that's 4%, no questions asked. This will chip them out if they're under 4% and they don't, even if they have like 3 bars to take chip damage, this is considered a hit. This is considered like a 4-hit combo, as you can see. The game literally calls it a 4-hit combo because even though they're blocking, it's unblockable, so it's like it hit them anyway. So yeah, that's her Fatal Blow. I'm not gonna go into like Fatal Blow combos because for the most part, all you're doing is either stand 3 into far Fatal Blow because it does have close, medium, far. The close version, you don't really use the close version for anything, but the far version you use after stand 3, except in the corner, then you just use your regular Fatal Blow. So you're either gonna be doing stand 3 into far Fatal or some other like just a basic string into it, or like her B&B. I will show the B&B from mid-screen, that's all I'm gonna show. So that combo is short, so you can do stand 4 and a Fatal Blow. So, what else? The projectile parry. I do want to touch on the projectile parry a little bit more. So off of her regular projectile parry, she can shoot back projectiles. She can shoot back her down back one and her back forward one, which is her tracking projectile and the straight projectile. So you can see here. And if you EX it, you can do the same thing, but you can also cancel into the rest of your special moves, which is like all of them. You can cancel into EX projectiles, you can cancel into Fatal Blow. So basically any projectile you get off the EX version. Now this is pretty much only useful against Astra because, well, I'll show you why. So yeah, you can probably see there, her armor is considered a projectile, so you can just parry and then teleport, and then you'll get a combo for it. So that's like a very unique thing to Sektor. Not many characters get to do that. This is also a pretty fast parry. Like, look how late you can react and still get the parry. And when you do get a parry, you get access to your stand 2. So this gives you like a free charge of stand 2 in the same way that like manually doing it would. Either way, you get this very powerful 16 frame mid that's +9 on block with pushback. So all around solid character. Like we said, very good projectiles, oppressive and neutral. You always have the threat of 4-3, and she can just put a bunch of stuff on screen and they just have to be worried about all this stuff, and it's gonna be like really difficult for them to get in. And then once you do get in, you got your back 3-4, which is a good auto shimmy. You have this advancing mid, you have some good staggers, you have this overhead, which you can occasionally throw out there. And in the corner, of course, you have Gento, which I did not talk about because I've talked about Gento in many other videos. I can put those in the description, or maybe I'll card them right here. And yeah, you can go check those out now. But yeah, that's going to be the Sektor guide / Sektor Janet guide. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and helpful, and maybe send this over to somebody who's trying to learn the character. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. So take care. Peace. Sinister out.